Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard. Today we're going to be taking a look at what comes in this box from Walther. It is the Walther WMP. It is a weapon of mass, it's a Walther Magnum pistol. Now, Kel-Tec pretty much got this thing rolling with their Magnum pistol, 22 Magnum pistol. Walther has also joined the bandwagon, jumped on the bandwagon. And when you open the box up, what you're going to get is this wrapped in a yellow plastic bag here. It's got some of the kind of preservative on it. There is going to be a preserving oil that's on the outside of it. There is a little blue chamber flag in there. We'll go ahead and lock that slide back, get that chamber flag out of there. It is going to come with two 15-round magazines. So, depending on your state, you can get it in a 10-round magazine also. But it's a pretty cool pistol. Now, this is a full size. There is nothing in here. I just took it out of the box, so that's what it is. So you're going to get the full-size pistol. You're going to get two magazines. You're going to get some plates here to mount an optic on the top of it. It is optics ready. If you watch my videos, you know I don't care for an optic too much. It does have a fiber optic front sight on it here, but the black sight is just a serrated U-shaped sight. Still pretty easy, at least against a light background, to pick it up. Dark background is going to be just, well, you can still see that fiber optic front sight pretty good. The back one is going to be a little bit different. Maybe a little fingernail polish or some whiteout or something on the back there. Whatever you choose to color your sights with might help out a little bit. And underneath the top cover of the case, you're going to get, of course, a lock, and you're going to get the owner's manual. Now, I've already taken this one out of it, cleaned it up a little bit and everything, and that's one of the things you're going to want to do with any new firearm. These are test fired from the factory, but you're going to want to make sure that nothing is in there that's going to cause any kind of problems or obstructions or anything. Let's take a closer look at taking this thing apart so that when you do get it, you can get it ready to clean up, get it ready for the range. Okay, so we'll get the case out of the way, and then we've got the magazine out of it. Now, you do not have to do any kind of trigger pull on this thing, so that'll make it acceptable in several other states. But what you're going to want to do is you have a slide lock on here, and then this is your release right there. So we're going to pull that slide all the way back, and we're going to lock it in the open position. Then you're just going to take this little lever right here and roll it down, and then pull the slide back a little bit. That'll release it, and then you're going to push it a little bit, well, all the way to the front there, because it's got to slide all the way off the front. You got your recoil spring and guide rod right there, and you got your barrel right inside here. Now, the lug on this one's going to look a lot different than a lot of other firearms because of this big massive setup right here. But this is part of one of the things that makes the 22 Magnums reliable in a semi-auto configuration. It's part of their delayed blowback mechanism. There's so much powder in a 22 Magnum that if it ejects, if it recoils too soon, if that slide, the action works too soon, you're going to have a lot of fire coming out of the breech end there, and you don't want that. You want as much of that fire going forward to push that projectile out. And the 22 Magnum is kind of quick, and there's a lot of powder in it, so you need that delay blowback mechanism to make it function reliably and get as much energy out of the round as you can. Some of that energy is still used to operate the action on there. You're going to notice a lot of grease in here. They use a lot of grease instead of oil on here. It's a little thicker, it stays put. So I would probably look at getting something. I do like Frog Lube, and Frog Lube is kind of a grease, but it thins out pretty quick. Now, I'm going to leave the factory grease in here because this is not a preservative. This is a lubricant that's in there. Most of the time, if they put a preservative in there, it's going to be an oil. Put it back in there. Just go ahead and drop it right back down inside there. Take your recoil spring and guide rod, put it right back in there. Make sure it is down behind the lug where it needs to go. And you'll notice it's a little wiggly there. Just doesn't hurt anything. You're going to want to slide this thing all the way from the front lugs all the way back. Pull it all the way back, lock your slide, go ahead and flip that lever forward, and it's ready to go. Another really cool thing on this firearm is the quad magazine release. Now, I like a lot of different magazine releases. I do not like the ones on the heel. I do not like them when they're real low here. I like to be able to get it with my thumb, which you do have that option on here. You can get it with your thumb. If you're a lefty, you can still get it with your thumb because you don't have to swap anything over. It's already there. Now, I do have the, I think it's the Beretta U22, which has the magazine release on the trigger guard. Now, I do kind of like that sometimes because you can take your trigger finger, pull it out of the trigger guard, push that down, and magazine release. Also, if you're a lefty and you want to do the same thing, it's on this side. So really a lot of options on there. You also have ambidextrous magazine or a slide stop on there. So you've got it on this side, you've got it on the other side. Now, it's not really a magazine release as much as it is a stop. It is a pretty good size lever, but I find it's kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get that with your thumb to release it, or your trigger finger, either one. So just, well, I got an empty magazine in here, so it does lock open, but it's easier just to pull it back and let it go. Full-size gun, meant for kind of like for training, not exclusively for training though. It kind of matches up with a lot of their other full-size firearms, but this can be a decent option, good option, depending on what you like. 22 Magnum is a pretty potent round for as small a caliber as it is, and it's a really comfortable gun if you want to use it for training. You can also use it for you know, a little personal protection. Maybe you're out hiking or hunting or camping or whatever. Maybe go after a little bit of small game if you need to, but really comfortable gun. Nice stippling on the grip there. Kind of their own little pattern that's on there, but really feels good. Really ergonomic handle on it. I've got pretty big hands. Now, it is kind of hard plastic. There's no rubberized overmolding or anything on it, but it's pretty comfy. Now, I believe you can disassemble this magazine, the 15 round magazine, little button on the bottom there you can push in, pull your bottom plate off of there, pull it apart and clean it out. The 10 round ones you cannot, because they don't want you you know, modifying it if you do live in one of those states. Little tabs on here, you can grab the follower and pull it down to load it up. Makes loading a lot easier on these things. It is a plastic and metal magazine, so it's got metal on the inside of it there and kind of a plastic filler piece on here. Probably about the same size as some of the full-size ones. I do not have a full-size Walther. I do want to get one. I like the PPQ Q5 or whatever it is with the blue trigger on it. Good looking gun. But anyways, we're going to get this thing loaded up, get it on the range, and give it a few shots. Okay, out here on the range with the Walther WMP. Now, I did load 5 rounds of the Hornady 30 grain VMAX in here. And the reason I did that was because when I got the Kel-Tec CMR30, the carbine version of it, I fired a bunch of these 30 rounders in there and had a lot of issues with it. I don't suspect I'll have the problem with this because the bolt assembly in here is not that big, not like in the CMR30, which was pretty massive. But I had a lot of failure to feeds and eject and all that kind of stuff just because the 30 grains did not provide enough back pressure on there to operate the action reliably on there. I don't think I'll have that problem with this, but I've got 5 rounds of the 30 grain VMAX loaded in here, and we're going to take some 10-yard shots out of the Caldwell Matrix here and see how it does for accuracy with the 30 grains in there. Now, I also loaded up 5 rounds of CCI Maxi Mags. Now, these are a 40 grain bullet, and I did bring a box of Federal 50 grain 22 Magnum rounds here. These are a 50 grain jacketed hollow point. I suspect there shouldn't be any problems with this, but let's go ahead and give it a try and see how it does for both accuracy and reliability with the 30 grain VMAX in it first. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get my hearing protection on. These are the Peltor Range Guards. I really like these, especially for doing the pistol shooting because, well, I don't have to worry about them being up against the buttstock. All right, we're going to go ahead and get a round chambered. Again, this is the 30 grain VMAX, and we'll see how it does for accuracy. I'm going to go right for the center target there. All right, there's 5 shots. It did lock open on the last round. Not bad grouping there. I had one a little bit high. It looks like the other 4 are all within 1 little inch there. Again, this is 10 yards, and I put the center target at the top of my sight there, my sight picture. So it's up and to the left just a little bit, and I believe that is the gun, not me. The sights are only drift adjustable on the rear sight, and I'm going to leave it just where it is there to see if it shoots consistently. Now you could also have different effects from different rounds too. So now these are going to be the CCI MaxiMag 22 WMR 40 grains. And we're going to go ahead and put 5 rounds. We'll go for the upper right one and see how it does there. Again, to release it, you're not going to be able to do the slide stop on the side there. Just pull it back and let it drop. Upper right this time. All right, I held the exact same sight picture there. The center of my target was even with the top of the 3 sights there. And again, it's still a little up and to the left, but it is not as far off as it was with the 30 grains. So we'll go ahead and kick this out, and we'll go ahead and get this box of 50 grains opened up. I have not opened them yet. I have shot them before though. And we'll go ahead and load 5 rounds of it in there. Again, to load these magazines, it is a piece of cake with that little follower in there. It's easy to pull down. They slide right in there. All right, there's 5 rounds of the 50 grain Federals. And we'll go for the lower right one this time. So we got a little failure to feed problem there. Again, all of the groupings look pretty similar on there. All up and to the left. Shoots really nice. The trigger in this thing is phenomenal, I think, for just a factory stock trigger, no specialty trigger, no special target trigger or anything. Really, that did really nice. I think I'm going to put, I'm going to go ahead and load this thing up with 15 rounds of the Federal Game Shocks here, the 50 grainers, and take some shots at that steel target up there. Okay, now I did throw some paint on the steel target up there because I forget to do that from time to time. Go ahead and pull it back, let it drop. I put the 50 grains in there because it's the only one I've had an issue with so far. Of course, it's only been 15 rounds, but we'll give it a try anyways. We'll see how it does at 15 yards for the steel target. First 5 went nice. It's a very comfortable shooting gun. Now, it is only 22 Magnum, but it's got some heft to it. Being a full-size gun, it really shoots pretty nice. And locked open on the last slide. Again, I like this quad release. There's so much you can do with it. Actually, it's a little easier to hit with the trigger release there than it is for the thumb release. Doesn't have much of a spring to it, doesn't really kick them out, it's just gravity pulling it out of there. Oh, it's got an empty mag in it. Okay, so for my final thoughts on the Walther WMP, full-size gun, shooting 22 Magnum, very comfortable gun, very comfortable grip, good size to it, good weight to it, not excessively heavy, not super light either. Nice steel slide on it, polymer lower on there. It's got a rail on the front there. You can put something on it if you want, a flashlight, laser, whatever. It does have an optics plate on the top. I'm not a fan of optics. If you are, go for it. A lot of people absolutely love them. I like it. It really is a comfortable gun and really shoots pretty good there. The 15-yard stuff, when I took my time, was not terrible. The last 10 rounds, I was able to hit it with all 15 rounds of the 50 grain ammo in there, and no real issues with it that time either, was there? Nope, I don't think so. Anyways, good shooting gun, the Walther WMP. It's gonna retail for about $549. I think I paid less than $500 for it with tax and everything out the door. Good feeling gun. I do need to get the 9mm Q5 match. It's a good looking pistol. Anyways, if you could reach up here and check out some of my other videos when you hit this button, and hit the little round one down here to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review.